Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to the Rideshare Hub. My name's Dylan. Thank you so much for coming by. So in today's video, I'm going to be telling you about my experience and the story about buying a Tesla Model 3 and everything wrong with the car up until the point where I actually ended up returning the vehicle. So about a year ago, I graduated from a college called UC Berkeley, and throughout my time there, I was really falling in love with Tesla and I really wanted to buy a car. And fast forward about 6 months after graduating, I worked really hard and I ended up buying the Tesla Model 3. I ended up getting the long range version, and there was just a few things that I didn't really like about the car, and I ended up returning the vehicle. And I did want to preface this by saying that I did grow up in a pretty low income family, and no way have I ever imagined of ever owning a Tesla. So it was honestly an amazing experience, and there were, don't get me wrong, tons of things that I loved about the car. I still think Tesla is a great company, but yeah, there were just some things that I ended up not liking about the car. So while in college, I did work at a technology company, and I actually did get basically a full-time job that would pay me really well if I already had my degree, but they ended up giving me an offer early, so I worked full-time throughout college at that job, and then I also started doing YouTube and social media, and throughout all that, I decided, you know what, let me spend all my money on a brand new Tesla. So that's what I ended up doing. I bought the Tesla, and then within 7 days, things took a turn for the worse. So if you're thinking about buying a Tesla, this video is probably for you, because even though I had rented a Tesla before, the same exact model, it was I rented a 2018 model for 3 days. I thought I loved the car and I thought I would love it. The 2019 model had so many issues with it that I had to return it. Now, before I get into everything wrong with the car, I do want to say that some of these things are actually Tesla's fault, and then some of these things are my fault. I do take full blame, or I guess responsibility, for some things that I personally didn't like about the car, which I would imagine that tons of other people actually wouldn't mind these issues that were just issues for me. For one, I do have a couple of physical disabilities, which ended up being kind of a deal breaker with me for the car. So I'll get into that, but I just wanted to say, not everything on this list is Tesla's fault, if that makes sense. So now, before I jump into the list of everything wrong with the Tesla Model 3, if you could do me one favor and smash the thumbs up button for the YouTube algorithm, I would really appreciate that. It helps me out a ton as a creator, make more videos for you guys, and just, you know, as an appreciation for being completely transparent. I don't know if I'm gonna get any backfire for this, but I just wanted to make this clear for you and talk about, you know, I just wanna be honest with you guys. And hopefully this could warn some of you guys if you are thinking about getting the Tesla Model 3 or any of the other Teslas for that matter. And also check out the links down below if you do wanna sign up and make money. There's a bunch of different ways to make money if you check out the links down below. All right, so just to begin the story, I actually did purchase the Tesla online, and I ordered it. I think that's the only way to purchase it online, but I ordered the car and I got the confirmation, and it said I was gonna be ready in about 7 days for pickup, and they actually called me in about 2 to 3 days saying that the car was gonna be ready in the morning, but I was actually out of town. So it came way faster than expected. And but I ended up picking it up, like, you know, a week later or so. And when I got the car, you know, it was a really cool process, really simple, really easy. But when I picked it up, the car actually had a scratch on it. Not a small scratch, like the whole, I didn't take a picture of it, but the front of the car had a huge scratch. I think somebody, while they were driving it, actually scraped, I don't know, something in the Tesla service center or something. But there was a pretty decent sized scratch on the front of it. So while I was picking up the car, I did a little quick walk around and I noticed that scratch on the front. That was just like kind of a red flag at the beginning. It kind of like ruined my whole mood with the car, but they ended up taking the car back to their shop and buffing it out. So I waited like an extra 30 minutes while they, I don't know, fixed the car. Maybe they swapped it out for a new one. I honestly don't know. But when they brought the car back, there was no scratch on it anymore. I don't know how they did it, but it honestly looked like a pretty bad scratch. So the second thing wrong with my car, this is changing it. This is something that was personally wrong for me. I have really sensitive eyes. I don't know what's wrong with me, but for whatever reason, the screen in the car was giving me a massive headache. I was actually getting a migraine looking at the screen. I don't know if it was like one of the settings or what. And again, this is something when I rented the earlier Model 3, because I rented it for like 3 days to test it out, I had no issues with the screen. But for whatever reason, with the 2019 Tesla Model 3, the screen was giving me a massive headache. And again, I don't know if it was like some setting or if the brightness was too bright. I had tried turning the brightness all the way down. I actually do have blue light filters. You can see it's purple right here. This is deflecting blue light. I think it's deflecting blue light from the camera screen here. Or is it from the window? I'm not sure. But so I actually have built-in blue light, and that didn't help at all. So I guess that's just something to look out for if you know, are thinking about getting the Tesla. Just, you know, look at the screen for a while and see if it hurts your eyes. It was giving me a headache so bad that sometimes I was like getting dizzy while driving. So that would definitely be very dangerous. And again, that's not Tesla's fault by any means. I actually do get headaches from iPhone screens sometimes too. I think I just have pretty sensitive eyes. The third thing wrong with my Tesla Model 3, and this definitely is Tesla's fault, is that these side mirrors, my right side mirror would glitch out like every day while I was driving it. Again, I had the car for 7 days until I returned it, because it was a 7-day return period. But so many times I would start driving and I would go to look over, and so the way that the Tesla works is once you unlock the car, the side mirrors open out. And when you lock it, they close. And a lot of times when I would unlock it and get in my car, only one of the side mirrors would open up, and that's the one by me. Now, when I would go to make a lane change, I couldn't see anything. The side mirror was stuck in. So and you can't manually push it out. So what I had to do several times was pull over and lock the car, unlock it, lock the car, unlock it until it opens out. So again, this is something that probably could be fixed, but this is just like a glitch that I had, and I looked it up, and a lot of other people have this same exact glitch when they get their new car. I don't know why, but that was what was wrong with mine. Okay, the fourth thing wrong with the car, again, this is not something wrong with the car because this is actually required by federal law, I think now. But now electric vehicles need to have a backup noise. Because electric cars are silent, it's called a PWS, a pedestrian warning sound. This is why like big U-Hauls or big trucks, when they back up, they beep because they need to warn people. In normal cars, you can hear them backing up, but with electric cars, since they're silent, they need to have a backup sound. Now, when I bought my car, it was right after the date where they started producing these sounds in the cars. Guys, this sound was so annoying. It was giving me such a bad headache. Literally every time I turned my car around and turned it in reverse, it wasn't a cool sound. It was just super annoying, and it was giving me a headache. And so many times, like, I would start up my car in the morning to go get my morning coffee or whatever, and it's inside the car is so loud. It's this high-pitched sound that was literally giving me a headache when I was starting, you know, to get my morning coffee in the morning. Just hearing this loud sound is not what you want to hear. And do you hear that? You have to go to the back too. It's in the back, like right speakers. I'm gonna back up really quick, and then just back up and see if you can hear the sound. Okay, so I'm gonna drive forward and then back up. You can hear it, right?
Yeah. Is it the loud?
It's really loud, right?
Yeah.
Let me try going a little bit faster.
Okay.
Let's back up a little bit. It's louder, huh?
Yeah.
High pitch.
The faster you go, it's like woo.
Yeah. They definitely could have done a better job in making this sound better, because I know it is mandatory, and I have heard that it is you can disable the sound. You know, I think somebody said, oh, you could just cut the wire and take the speaker out, problem solved. But now you're getting into a legal trouble, because what happens if you're backing up and, I don't know, you hit either somebody or you hit a car or whatever, and they find out that your backup sound was disabled. Now your person, like, your insurance probably isn't going to cover the accident. I don't know. It's like, I feel like that's just a legal issue. I wouldn't want to disable that sound, since I know it would be required by law. I have heard other electric vehicle sounds, backup sounds, sound much better. Some people think it's cool. I actually made a video called Annoying Backup Tesla Sound or something, and it got like 10,000 views, and a lot of people in the comment section were saying that they thought the sound was cool. So it could just be a personal preference, but I personally thought it was super annoying, and it gave me a headache every single time I put my car in reverse. Just saying. So keep that in mind too. And I think all the new Teslas have that, as long as they were produced after September 2019. So I think all the new ones have that sound. It might just be the Tesla Model 3 for whatever reason, but I think all of them should be required by 2021. So the fifth problem, this is definitely a personal one, not Tesla's fault by any means. It's a compact car, right? Everybody knows that. It's a really, really small car. The seat and area for the driver was hurting my knee. So this was something I didn't really even think about. And again, when I rented my previous model, it actually had no issues with this, but the newer model was really hurting my knee. And I've had 2 knee surgeries. I've had, when I was 11 years old, I tore my ACL, my meniscus, and my MCL. I had surgery on it. It took me 9 months to recover. And when you recover, you're not 100% recovered. And then I retore it again when I was 20 years old, playing beach soccer. Both of them were from soccer injuries. The first one was like playing competitive soccer. So I honestly, like the car that I use now, I don't have any pain, no problem at all. But for whatever reason, when I was driving the Tesla, I was literally limping afterwards. I would drive it and I would get out and my knee was hurting so bad. And the Tesla, like down by the feet area in the driver's seat, it has like a space for your foot to go. You can't straighten your left foot all the way. There's a spot, like a rest, I guess. So your knee's always bent and you can't move it. I don't know if that makes any sense, but you can't move your foot forward. It's stuck like this, and then your driving one is straight, like pressing the accelerator and the brake. But this one's stuck right here, and that's my bad knee. So it was hurting me a lot. And again, for whatever reason, when I, test drove, or when I rented the previous model, it was no issue for me at all. So when I was driving it, that alone was that one, when it started hurting my knee, I knew right away that I tried every seat position. I raised the seat, lowered the seat, pushed it forward, pushed it back. I tried everything, guys. I tried everything, trust me. But when my knee started hurting and I was started to get out of my car limping, I knew right then and there that I was going to have to return the car, because obviously I can't be driving a car that physically like hurts my knee. And it was hurting me bad, guys. And after I returned it, like it's still, because I was driving with that car for like a week. After I returned the car, I was limping for like 3 weeks, no joke. It was that bad. It was really, really straining my knee. And actually I watched another video of a guy, an older gentleman, he's British. He actually had that same issue as well. So if you've had knee surgery, keep that in mind. Also on that note, we want to keep this very detailed, because when I actually tried sitting in a Tesla Model S and a Tesla Model X, and actually both of those cars also hurt my knee just sitting in it. And it was shortly after I returned my Tesla Model 3, so it could have still been sore from that one. But I sat in, and for whatever reason, it's not like a chair. Like the car I'm sitting in now, the seat is more like a chair. You're sitting up. The other ones, your legs are mostly flat. It's like you're sitting on the ground, like a sports car. That's how the Tesla Model S and 3 are. The X is higher, but still, for whatever reason, it was really straining my knee when I sat in the Tesla Model X. So those were both new models. I don't know if the older models are better, but yeah, that one was really hurting my, that was like the biggest problem out of all of them. Okay, the sixth thing wrong with my Tesla Model 3, this was something I noticed right away driving it on day one, is that the dividers that you have in your car, these little side panels here on the Tesla, those are really large. Those, I don't know what they're called, the dividers between your windshield and your side windows. On the Tesla, they're super big, and actually when you're driving, I had to keep looking over and around to make sure that there weren't any cars, and it actually created a super big blind spot in the car for me. And just, maybe you don't notice it, but next time you sit in a Tesla Model 3, look at that, because again, you're low to the ground, you can't see that much, and you have a huge block. I was super surprised at that. I was like, dang, this seems really poorly designed, that I had to keep looking around in order to make sure that there was no cars. So that's something I personally didn't like about it. I know they've done, you know, hundreds and thousands of, maybe not hundreds of thousands, but thousands of hours of research into designing the car. I'm sure it would be, actually, this one, I was like, I will probably get used to it, but that's just something to keep in mind, that at the beginning, I was like, this is dangerous. I literally, like, it was dangerous even trying to change lanes on the freeway. Okay, another thing that was wrong with my Tesla Model 3, and this one I have heard several other people complain about too, is that the car doesn't always lock automatically. So the way you unlock and lock the car is basically when you, and this is a double-edged sword, whatever. A lot of times when you have your phone in your pocket, because your phone is your key, they don't have keys. At least I was given like a card, but they say, oh, it's on your phone, it's Bluetooth, whatever. When you approach the car, it's supposed to unlock. So you can't just, you know, you don't have a key to click. It's your car. You can go in and manually do it, but whatever, it's supposed to work through your phone. That's how they advertise it. And then when you shut the door and walk away, it's supposed to lock. There was literally so many times, I've lost count, that I walk up to the car, I go to open it, and it's still locked. And it's supposed to be unlocked, like when I get there. And also when I leave, I notice, I check the app, and the car never locked. So I also heard meet Kevin. He's a real estate guy. He has a Tesla Model X. He also, I just heard him talk on a podcast called the Iced Coffee Hour with Graham Stephan.
So when I first bought the car, it sucked, so nothing. And then it got better.
Why would you say it sucked?
Oh, it was horrible, the crap I went through with the car. Almost every time I went to get in the car, I would have errors. So you'd get in, it was autopilot not available, car can't start, car needs service. There was a time where I was late for an appointment, I got in, and it was doing some weird bugs. I called Tesla and they said, here's what you gotta do. Take your key, walk 5 minutes away from the car. So you're distant from the car, so the car can just hard reset alone.
Wow.
And then I came back and the problem was, and I'm like, what? This is the stupidest car. I thought I bought a lemon.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but it was just that thing was glitching out all the time. So just, I guess, make sure your car is locked on your phone. Okay, and then the last problem, this is something that I guess I wasn't communicated with properly, but when I went to charge my car at a supercharging station, I actually didn't have an electric charger in my house at the time, so I had to go to a supercharging station like every couple of days. That was the reason why I got a long range one too, is because I didn't have an at-home charger, and like I don't have a house that I own. But a lot of times I was being overcharged to charge my car, and I would go charge it, go grab a cup of coffee, come back, and when I would go on my bank, I would have like 7 or 8 different charges. I think it was like idling fees or like overcharging fees. I charged it too much, or my car was there past its like, and my car was never charged completely full. I think what it was is I was charging it past the 70 or 80% mark. I think if you charge it past, then you get charged an extra thing. I don't know what it was, but I had all these charges on my account from the supercharger, from the superchargers and supercharging stations. And also while I was there, I had other drivers too, like, you know, there's like 20 Teslas there. I had other drivers say that, oh, this Tesla charging station sucks. What are you getting? Like, your charging rate? Like, I noticed that there was a lot of issues with the Tesla charging station. So Obviously, if you have a charger at home, you wouldn't run into these issues, but that alone too also wasn't very convenient. Like, you kind of need to have an at-home charger. If you're going to a Tesla supercharging station like every day or every other day, and you're sitting there for an hour, 30 minutes to an hour, I could see how inconvenient that would be, having to go out of your way to get your car charged. If you're running around all day and you got meetings to go to in your car, you gotta go to the Tesla charging station. I could see how that would be super inconvenient. Okay, anyways guys, those are the reasons, everything wrong with my Tesla Model 3 that ultimately led me to return the car. Just to go over the return process, it was actually very, very easy to return. I returned it on the 7th day, I believe. When I returned it, they looked at the car, I signed a document, and literally I left within 5 minutes. And I did buy the car in cash, so that made it really easy. I did not need to call my bank and get that money like paid off through them. So I just paid it on a debit card through my checking account, and the money came back into my account, I think it was after like 4 or 5 weeks. So it did take some time to get back, but you know, obviously they gotta, I don't know, the money goes into their account and they gotta get the money back, and I don't know how it works. My car was like somewhat dirty from like using it for a week. They didn't really care as long as there were no like dents on the car. I didn't like thankfully have any scratches on it or anything. I was super careful on like the last couple days because I knew I was going to return it. Driving that thing around, I was like really making sure not to hit anything, but the return process was super easy. If you don't like the car, don't be afraid to return it. There's a 7-day return period for a reason. They've got millions of cars out on the road. If you don't like it, return it, get your money back. There's literally no reason not to return it if you don't absolutely love it. You need to return the car. If you don't like it, you can return and get a different model. Anyways, guys, if you have any questions, let me know. I am still thinking about getting a Tesla Model X at some point, maybe a used one. I also just want to get a Mercedes, but right now this car is a cheap 2011 Ford Escape, which honestly will probably just do for now, and I'll just have this super inexpensive car that I own in cash. So anyways guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe for more videos on this channel. Thank you all for watching. Have a great day guys. Bye.